Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's just finished. Everton 1, West Ham United 1. Boring ass game, to be honest with you. I think it was a fair scoreline. I think 1-1 was the right scoreline. I think that draw was the correct outcome based on the 90 minutes of football that we've just witnessed. But my word, I'm glad this is match day 29 and not match day 9. Otherwise, I'd be a little bit worried, to be honest with you, because I feel like we've got Van Gogh in charge, because all we do is draw. Anyway, we're going to discuss a few highlights from the match between Everton and West Ham. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Also, drop a like on the video as well by clicking thumbs up. It helps out the video. I know you might not believe me, but it genuinely does. The more people that click thumbs up, it helps out the YouTube algorithm and it helps recommend the video to more people. So click it. Thank you very much. I need cheering up after that. The first half was absolutely dreadful, to be honest with you. Everton were the better team in the first half, not by a large margin. Didn't come out and play like prime Barcelona themselves, but I do feel like they were the better side. Thought we were really struggling to keep the ball in the first half, and it was a bit like a continuation of what we've seen on Monday against Newcastle United, which was pass it around at the back, give it to Areola, we'll get pressed and we'll run out of options. The midfield won't be there for an option to be passed to from the defence. So Areola will boot it forward and a centre-back who is much taller than Jared Bowen will win the ball. And that's exactly what was happening. I felt like that's what happened on Monday night against Newcastle. I felt like that's what happened in the first half today against Everton. It was just dire to watch. The highlight of the first half was an absolute scandalous call by the referee to give Everton a penalty. Beto basically broke his ankle by kicking the floor. Nobody touched him. Beto kicked the floor. And the referee decided to award a penalty and then book Todibo for what I can only assume is telling the referee he's dog shit. I can only assume that's what Todibo said to him. And then he overturned his decision, proving Todibo to be correct, which was he's dog shit. And the referee didn't end up having a bad game. It was his only bad call. But when things like that happen, it certainly dents your confidence in the geezer for the remaining 45 minutes of the game. Anyway, it got overturned correctly. So the kick in the ground is not a foul. It is not a penalty. Who knew? So we went in at half-time at 0-0. And Potter made 2 changes, I think. And as in tweaks to the 11, not substitutions. But the real highlight for me was at half-time because Mrs. Jill decided to make a cheesecake today and it was leftover digestives. I had a brew at half-time. Tell you what, it was 9 out of 10, solid. And a couple of biscuits. Mwah. Highlight of the game for me was my brew. Delicious. But Graham Potter made 2 changes. And one of them was moving Tomas Soucek further forward. That would end up impacting the game in a positive manner. And the other one was switching Kudus and Bowen. Now, obviously, that doesn't sound too drastic, swapping Bowen from the right striker being out-jumped by a 6-foot-plus centre-back to moving him on to the left to be out-jumped by a 6-foot-plus centre-back. However, the combination worked for our goal. Bowen got it in the left half space and gave it to Tomas Soucek. And I have to say, outstanding finish by Tomas Soucek. It's not the best first touch in the world because it sort of bobbles up, but he just moves his body rather than trying to control the ball the second time. He just moves the body so he meets it on its way back down and bends it into the far post. Pickford's got no chance. It's an absolute brilliant finish by Tomas Soucek, but it was going to take that. It was going to take someone to do something really good to break the deadlock. Areola had little to do. Jordan Pickford had even less to do. Jordan Pickford made 2 good saves in the first half, to be fair, but one of them was from Brandwaite heading it in the wrong direction. So Pickford was tested 3 times in this game. One of them wasn't even the West Ham player that did it. But great goal by Tomas Soucek. And credit for Potter for those changes. It worked. So we're now 20 minutes into the second half. West Ham 1-0 up. Happy days. I feel from then on, I think Potter started to get it wrong bit by bit. I think the substitutions or lack of substitutions and then the substitutions, I felt like we were just losing control bit by bit. In Moyes, I guess, in the Moyes way, through the kitchen sink house by bringing on 2 strikers. And I have to say, I was getting a bit worried that equalizer was going to come. Now, admittedly, I got a bit hopeful by the 90th minute we might see it out, but I felt when we went 1-0 up, we played well, by the way, just before our goal and just after our goal. I thought we were playing all right for about 20 minutes of the second half. I thought we weren't fantastic, but we were better than the first half. I felt like we upped the ante a little bit. Potter's changes had worked. I think Emerson was starting to get forward a little bit more. Paqueta was now deeper beside. I nearly said he was deeper inside Adam Wan-Bissaka. Not that. He was deeper next to James Ward-Prowse. It was working. The threat of Everton was nil, I felt, for a large part of that second half. But then when we scored, I felt like we were our own victim to some extent. We started to encourage Everton onto us. And that works if you're good at keeping the ball. But we'd already established in the first half, we're not very good at keeping the ball. We were struggling to keep it. So we decided to sit further back and try and retain possession in and around our box. It was never going to happen. And it felt like wave after wave after wave for Everton. Now, their means of attack was to cross. And they were doing it from the first minute to the last minute. And eventually yielded success. But there were two subs I was hoping to see Potter make after going 1-0 up. The first one would have been to take Paqueta off, who I don't think he had a great game. By the way, this is just a little bit of fun. I think some people need cheering up, right? I've got a little bit of fun. Lucas Paqueta got booked. It was a good yellow card to take. Emerson went forward. Paqueta filled in. Everton run an attack. He committed the foul. Got a yellow card for it just before he got subbed. But he was covering for his man. However, Lucas Paqueta was booked today. Do you remember he's got his, well, you will. He's got his trial coming up. Anyway, this is one of the allegations. Paqueta is alleged to have got booked on March the 12th to give his brother a birthday present. Now, this is obviously the Aston Villa game. This is one of the yellow cards in question. Brilliant. So one of the yellow cards in question is Paqueta getting booked to give his brother a birthday present. So that makes this week his brother's birthday week. And he got booked again. Just what we need before the FA trial. Anyway, Uncle Bruno will be happy, possibly. I would have liked to have seen Paqueta come off and Solar come on, but move Soucek back. Because I felt Soucek could move forward at halftime, and it worked. We got a goal, but those Everton crosses were only going to get more and more. They were only going to increase. I would have liked Soucek to have gone back into his original position just to help defend those crosses. And the second sub, I would have taken Jared Bowen off for Evan Ferguson. Patrons can back me up on this. The addicts can back me up on this. And the reason for that is because I thought we were struggling. I thought Bowen was tired or tiring. I thought Goodison looked better after we scored. I think he had a poor game overall. But when we made it 1-0, I thought Goodison got better, whereas Bowen didn't. I would have taken Bowen off, put Ferguson on, because I felt like we needed an out ball. We were struggling to get the ball and keep it. And I just felt that defence was going to need a breather. Having Ferguson on there, a bit of a target, fresh legs up there, try and keep a threat. And I think that's the most disappointing thing. At 1-0, we nullified our own threat. We decided we're not going to attack Everton anymore. We're not going to try and make it 2-0. And I understand, you can't just go gung-ho. But you've got to have something. And I just feel like we made it way too easy for Everton to come at us. And eventually they got that equalizer, which they deserved. Good shot. Can't recall who it was. Decent save by Ariel to some extent. But he parries into the danger area, gets cleared out. Alcaraz, who had a good game, found Idrissa Gueye at the back of the 18-yarder, unmarked. He was running forward. Nobody was marking him at all. I think it's Carlos Soler's man, but he was already in the box defending. So Ghana came into it and just avoided Carlos Soler, essentially. But it was a good pick out. A really good cross from him. And then there was Jake O'Brien. Bang. Mavropanos was next to him. I don't think it's Mavropanos' fault, per se. I just think it's a really good goal by Everton. But just our entire defence was caught flat-footed for that attack. The whole lot of them were just stood there, ball over, ball back across the 6-yarder, barely any movement from anyone. Easy equaliser, deserved, but bloody disappointing. It really is disappointing. The draw was inevitable. I feel like this is the most I've ever seen people predict a draw for a West Ham game. You know, we do the prediction competition on Patreon. Loads of people were predicting a draw. Loads of 0-0s. The most anyone's ever predicted 0-0 at half time. I thought, bloody hell, there's going to be quite a few winners here. Somebody's doing all right. I expect someone's won the prediction competition. I don't know, but Soucek scoring 1-1. I feel like somebody's probably had that. And, you know, I predicted 1-1. I'll say I predicted 1-1, but I was hoping to be wrong. But today was just, it's just boring. It is boring. I don't know what else to say, really. Like I said at the very start, if this was match day 9, I'd be really concerned and think, bloody hell, where are we going to pick up wins from and stuff? I want to see more, and I want to see more now. Anyway, individual performers. I won't go through the whole team because we do the player ratings on Patreon on a Monday morning. I thought Mavropanos was all right. Honestly, I thought he was all right. He had one really good pass to Kudus, which we didn't and couldn't capitalize on due to lack of support. He was okay. He got away with it at the end when the ball went through his legs and the shot went wide, but he was all right considering. I felt in the first half, I actually thought Kilman was the dodgier of the 3 centre-backs. There was one point he bottled it a bit. I think he expected Beto maybe to slide in, which he didn't, and he just booted in. He went to an Everton player, and bang, it was 2v2 on the edge of our box. Midfield, they did okay in terms of work rate, and they didn't do anything wrong. It's more plain than vanilla. I don't know how that's possible. It's just boring in there. There's little excitement in that team. Paqueta didn't bother turning up too much today. I don't think he had a good game. Kudus, I think, was poor up until we scored, and he came alive a little bit. Wan-Bissaka got forward well, but didn't capitalise on it. I think Emerson had a good game. I will say that. I think Emerson did all right. That was one of the big calls by Potter today, bringing him in for Scarles. I think Emerson had a good game. Bowen was quiet again. Don't know what's happening at the minute. I do know what's happening. I don't like him as striker. Please stop playing him. I know he got the assist, but his assist didn't come from striker play. I would argue his assist for Soucek's goal is evidence as to why he should not be the striker. And I know he doesn't play on the left, but he was out wide, got the ball and played it into what you could argue where your striker would perhaps be, where Tomas Soucek was. So a quiet game from Bowen, got the assist, but I hate him playing there. Potter, the subs were just not good enough, really. It's just one of them. I call it a meh game, but it's not, though. Meh means you don't care. I do. It was frustrating to watch. And it'd be okay if it was one game. But I feel like this is definitely the third boring game in a row. 2 points, 4 points to show for it. We beat Leicester. It's just, anyway, I'm going to shut up and disappear. Before I do disappear, though, I am live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. For those that are kicking about at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning in the UK or whatever time it is, wherever you're from, please do come and join me. It's the show where I take comments from the live chat, and the live chat dictate 70% of the show. You get your comments in. It could be about the players, it could be about the manager, anything you want. Get it in. JP says, thank you for the £2 super chat, JP. He says, boring, football, boring, bored. I think he's a bit bored, to be honest with you. Listen, to summarize, a fair result. Is it wrong to want more? Is it wrong to ask for more? I don't think it is. We play Wolves in a couple of weeks. We've got the international break. And I like it when we play well or we win well. And when the full-time whistle goes, I'm wanting more. I'm ready. I want the next game because I'm enjoying it. When's the next game? Come on, I'm ready for it. I'm excited. There's a build-up. I feel it. But at the minute, it's just a bit boring. Anyway, good result. 1-1 away to Everton in the form they're in is a good result. It's the way we went about it. You could say it's solid. The defense has got tighter. Factually true. But the attack's also got a lot worse. Factually true. I don't like the payoff. I appreciate to tighten the defense up, you're going to have to sacrifice something somewhere. I just feel like we've sacrificed too much. In that defense, it's still, it's better, but it's not perfect. Because if it was, we would have won today. And I feel like we're relying on a defense that's not quite good enough to keep clean sheets. Graham Potter said it after the last game against Newcastle. He said, when I arrived, we were conceding too many goals, about 2 goals a game we were conceding. We had to score 2 to get anything out of it. Correct. He is correct. Factually true. But under Potter, it feels like if we don't keep a clean sheet, we won't win the game. That is dangerous.